Right now on IUSTV News, the U.S. government shutdown continues and millions are being affected by defunded federal programs. We have the breakdown on what has happened to SNAP relief.
Plus, a new funding decision for the IDS newspaper, what IU leaders are saying about a reversal.
But first, how a community kitchen is stepping in to fill the gap left from SNAP benefits.
And a look into your weather forecast as spooky season is over. We'll have all the details on what you need to know this upcoming week.
We begin tonight with breaking news. 2 rapes and 1 sexual assault were reported. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elena Prinsinski.
And I'm Peyton Kripe. The IU Police Department has just sent out a university-wide crime notice containing 3 separate reports of rape, one of which was reported as attempted. On November 2nd, a rape was reported to have occurred at Eigenman Hall. Just the next day, another was reported to have occurred at the Chi Phi fraternity house in the evening hours. And finally, an attempted rape was reported last night at the Forest Quad. The 3 suspects are still unknown to the public, but have been identified to police and campus officials. The 3rd suspect is still unknown to the university.
If you or someone you know has any information on these crimes, you are encouraged to call the IU Police Department at 812-855-4111.
40 million Americans, including 600,000 here in Indiana, now without the supplemental benefits many rely on to put food on the table.
We're now in the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, and because of it, millions are without the federal food assistance program known as SNAP.
That's right. Our Grace Morocco joins us now with what this means for Hoosiers.
Yeah, thanks, guys. The Trump administration says help is on the way, releasing $4.5 billion in partial SNAP benefits for November. But that only covers half, leaving families waiting for the rest. Food pantries here in Bloomington are already feeling the stress.
Quite frankly, this is the greatest crisis we have faced since the pandemic hit.
Without SNAP, food banks will be the first stop for 600,000 Hoosiers. Hoosier Hills director Julio Alzano says Bloomington food banks are already seeing the strain.
It is placing an incredible burden on the charitable food assistance system.
SNAP provides low-income residents with prepaid cards to buy groceries. But on Monday, the Trump administration announced that partial payments will cover only about half of November's allotments, leaving many families waiting for the rest.
And the worst part is it's the most vulnerable population of people that are suffering from this.
IU graduate student Braden Lentz and his family rely on SNAP benefits each month.
With the holidays coming up, a lot of people might have, like these politicians, may have a dinner with their family, their friends, and some people will not. And that's the most unfortunate part about this whole deal.
In Indiana, a single person can earn up to $1,632 a month to qualify for SNAP. More than 436,000 college students across the state count on these benefits.
I think that, we assume that if you're a student who is in college, you can obviously afford college and everything that comes with it. If you talk with a lot of college students, individually you're hearing, oh, no, that's not the case.
The Crimson Cupboard, IU's on-campus food pantry, offers free groceries to any IU student who needs them. And off campus, Hoosier Hills Food Bank is spending nearly $250,000 this month to buy extra food for families affected. That includes truckloads full of peanut butter, turkeys, potatoes, and boxes of non-perishable items.
Not going to replace SNAP benefits by any stretch of the imagination, but it will hopefully help to tide some people over a little bit.
Both the Crimson Cupboard and Hoosier Hills Food Bank are seeking volunteers. More information on how to get involved can be found on their websites. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Grace. Speaking of volunteering, local organizations are stepping up to fill the gap. Here in Bloomington, Community Kitchen is preparing to serve more families in need. Volunteers spend each day cooking and packing meals. More than 60% of those meals go to children.
Right now, there are a lot of kids that food is in jeopardy because of this. Those benefits are really helping, kids that get free and reduced meals at school have that nutrition access at home.
offers meals to those in need 6 days a week. With the loss of SNAP benefits, staff say they're focused on making sure no one in the community goes hungry.
After facing national backlash and losing millions in donor support, the IU Media School will be reversing the cuts made to the Indiana Daily student newspaper and will restore the print paper back for the organization. In an October 30th letter to the IDS editors, Chancellor David Reingold wrote that he authorized the financial office to allow the IDS, under media school supervision, to use their established budget through June 30th, 2026 as they see fit. With the restored budget, the next IDS paper will now publish on November 20th. All right, let's get a check of the weather.
Yeah, guys, I will say it's looking a little dark outside. Daylight savings time certainly affecting that. But in any case, mild temps in the 60s so far. But right now, we got some other temperatures looking at us. It's temperature 67 in Terre Haute, Spencer, Bloomfield, and Washington. I will say, I don't know how it's this hot out. I thought it was spooky season was gone. It's still spooky. I don't know how it's this warm out in southern Indiana. Bedford, Bloomington, and Martinsville all at a temp of 65. Columbus and Franklin's too staying at that steady temp as well. If we look at our overnight temperatures, 9 p.m. going to drop down to about 54. Okay, that's good, especially if you're trying to keep cool in your house. I will say I'm trying to keep warm. 12 a.m. 53 and 3 a.m. 51, so steadily dropping over the course of the night. If you're looking to take your dog for a walk, I couldn't because mine would be invisible. It's not here. But in any case, 6 a.m. will be 51, 7, 50, and 8 a.m. 50 as well. Pretty steady temps, I will say. I would not want to go out at that cold of a temp in the morning, but for my runners, that's the temp for you. Coming up, we'll take a look at your game day temp along with your weekday forecast. Lots ahead. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Julian. The Monroe County Council has unanimously rejected a proposal to buy $11 million land for a new jail. The site lacked public transit and was considered too costly. Instead, officials want to improve the current jail and fund social services. Commissioners warn without a plan, the jail's future could go to federal court. The county will continue exploring alternatives for a new jail site. For all the local updates, you can follow the latest updates on our website at IUSTV.com. And for more content, visit us on Instagram at IUSTV News for daily coverage.
Coming up, Dorothy Toto and a full orchestra take the stage in Bloomington, how the Jacobs School of Music is bringing a movie classic to life.
And a new safety plan is in motion for the 17th and Eagleson crosswalk.
And find out more about Governor Mike Braun's plan to redistrict Indiana. All of that and more right after the break.
A Hollywood classic is getting a musical twist right here in Bloomington.
Our Mara Nicholson shows us how the Jacobs School of Music is bringing The Wizard of Oz to life in a whole new way.
It's one of the most iconic films ever made. And next weekend, the Yellow Brick Road is leading straight to Bloomington. The IU Jacobs School of Music will bring The Wizard of Oz to life, performing the full score live as the movie plays on the big screen.
The audience is going to experience a richness of sound from the live orchestra that you can't get from streaming it or even watching it in a movie theater.
This performance isn't just about watching a film, it's about feeling it. Each moment from Kansas to Oz, reimagined through the sound of a live orchestra. When the curtain rises here at the IU Auditorium, audience members won't just be watching The Wizard of Oz, they'll be stepping into it. It's a fusion of film and music that bridges generations, uniting classic Hollywood with the talent of IU's next great musicians.
The vocals for the songs, you'll actually be hearing Judy Garland and the rest of the cast coming right directly off the film. And after the first time I did this film, I said to my wife, I said, I've now worked with Judy Garland. My life is complete.
Because in this version of Oz, there's no place like IU.
Be able to bring an old Hollywood film score like this to life is really quite extraordinary.
Jacob's Live at the Movies, featuring The Wizard of Oz, plays next weekend on the 7th and 8th of November at the IU Auditorium. Tickets are available now through the IU Auditorium Ticketmaster or at the Auditorium box office. For IUSTV, I'm Mara Nicholson.
So, if you've ever wondered what Somewhere Over the Rainbow sounds like live, this is your chance to find out.
The City of Bloomington is working to make streets safer through its Safe Streets for All action plan. The plan includes a priority network that tracks where severe crashes have happened and where they could happen next. One area that has been on the radar is the intersection at 17th Street and Eagleson Avenue. After the recent incident there, city officials, IU, and other stakeholders have sped up talks on both short and long-term safety improvements. The city is combining public feedback with years of crash data to figure out the best course of action to increase pedestrian safety.
Between the city, IU, and other stakeholders of what can we do in the immediate term to make it safer, and then let's talk about medium term and long term as well to focus on the future too.
The 2 endangered tortoises stolen from the Indianapolis Zoo have been found as of Tuesday last week. They were recovered from Falls Park in Pendleton, almost 40 miles away from the zoo. The Indiana State Police say they were found in a box with a paper plate and note referencing the zoo on top of it. The investigation is still ongoing and no possible suspects have been identified. Caretakers say the tortoises are healthy and will be returning to their exhibit soon.
A loud boom shook Bloomington just after 6 o'clock Saturday morning. And it wasn't the Crane military base. Officials confirmed there was no activity. Experts say the sound was likely a sonic boom from a meteor that passed over the Midwest. Dozens of people reported seeing a fireball to the American Meteor Society. And dashcam video from Ohio captured it lighting up the sky. IU astronomers say the boom's wide reach means it happened high in the atmosphere.
In the past few months, several states have debated and implemented new congressional maps, and this discussion has now reached the Indiana State Legislature. Our Graham DeWitt has the story.
On October 27th, Indiana Governor Mike Braun called a special session to address 2 issues: redrawing the state's congressional map and updating state tax code. But it's the first issue that's drawn the most attention, with many people seeing this as a deliberate attempt to add more Republican seats to Congress.
The governor wants the legislature to come back and do the president's bidding, do what Washington wants him to do.
Indiana has 9 congressional districts, 7 of which are firmly Republican. The remaining 2, which are held by Democrats, are 1 and 7. District 1 encompasses the counties of Lake, Porter, and a small part of LaPorte. District 7 covers most of Marion County, including Indianapolis. So what might a new map look like? That remains to be seen.
I think that it certainly would be easier for them to further gerrymander District 1, but I think we just don't know yet what they want to do.
In addition to worries of unfair representation, there is also concern that redrawing the map mid-decade could set a bad precedent. But just like the details of a new map, whether or not the votes are there to pass one is also unknown.
I think that's also why you haven't seen the legislature rushing to go into session. I think if they wanted to do this and they had the votes, they'd be in session on Monday and they'd be out of there in a hurry.
I also reached out to State Senate President Pro Tem Roderick Bray, a Republican from Martinsville, in hopes to gain a better understanding of how the majority may vote on the matter. However, he was unavailable for comment. The special session is set to end on December 13th at the latest, though it is likely it'll conclude before then. From the Indiana State House in Indianapolis, I'm Graham DeWitt, IUSTV News.
The General Assembly is now set to convene for the special session at the start of December.
All right, turning to weather, these last 2 weeks have been pretty cold, but today it has warmed up a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was really sweaty today.
Yeah, that trend is going to continue, guys. Whether you got sweaters on or whatever the case may be, I know it's supposed to be fall time, but I'm telling you guys, you know, I used to be a young buck, now I'm unk, but I'll tell you what, these hot temperatures aren't for me, all right? So looking at these, all right, going into tomorrow, 8 a.m. is going to be about 50 degrees. You know, that's what I grew up in November and October. I'll tell you what, 50 degrees, 8 a.m. But as we move through kind of noon and 5 p.m., you're going to reach a 63 at some point and 65 at another point. So you're going to get some high temps along with some sunny skies as well, which, you know, I think we can all be thankful for that. In any case, if we look at Thursday's highs, 63 down south in Washington, along with 61 in Terre Haute, Martinsville reaching a high of 60. Bloomington, though, only 59, but I tell you what, those temperatures will warm up at some point, okay? Saturday, looking ahead, noon, 57 degrees. Again, partly cloudy in there as well. 4 p.m., you'll reach up to a high of 60, but then we'll hit some rain around 8 p.m., which I'll tell you what, as the dads say, we needed it, right? So we'll get some rain in there. That'll be good for not only the grass, but also all those flowers that aren't there anymore because it's fall. In any case, IU versus Penn State in Beaver Stadium out in State College. I tell you what, can the Hoosiers get it done? I don't know, but they're going to be dealing with some rain earlier in the day, 10 a.m. It'll be partly cloudy skies, some rain, some drizzle in there, mist and drizzle, if you will. And then 53, once it approaches noon, more towards kickoff, it'll be around 57, and then at 2 p.m. hit 58. So a bit of colder temperatures. Finally, your 7-day forecast, to tell you what, as we hit kind of the middle of the week, it'll be 69, but as we hit in later this week, it'll be cloudy. So that'll be all from Weather Today, guys.
All right, thanks, Julian. I am definitely looking forward to some warmer weather this upcoming week.
Me too.
Not me.
Next in sports, the IU men and women's basketball seasons are starting up. Our Dylan Dryman is in studio to give us a preview.
Welcome back to the sports segment. I'm Dylan Dryman. IU football crushed Maryland 55-10 this past weekend, racking up 367 rushing yards to stay undefeated. Next, the Hoosiers take on Penn State at noon in Happy Valley Saturday. It's been a big week in sports from college to the pros. Let's dive in. Basketball is born here in the state of Indiana. And IU basketball is here finally, and as well as college basketball as a whole. In my opinion, the best time of year has arrived. Let's talk about this IU roster. Both the women's and men's teams have revamped their rosters. The women's team lost graduates and transfer Yarden Garzone to Maryland, but added freshman Maya Mikuleski and welcome back Shea Chesky. Coach Terry Moran's squad aims to build on last year's NCAA tournament run, where they reached the second round and achieve even greater success this season. No team saw a bigger roster overhaul than IU men's basketball. After parting ways with Coach Mike Woodson and losing their entire roster to graduation or transfers, the Hoosiers hired new head coach Darren DeVries and added key players like Tucker DeVries, Lamar Wilkerson, and Reed Bailey. The team is focused on shooting and hitting threes, and when those shots fall in Assembly Hall, the crowd gets loud. Looking at the schedule, women's season kicks off packing the seats at Assembly Hall on Tuesday at 7 against Lipscomb. Wednesday, the men play Alabama A&M at 8. They also play Sunday in Chicago versus Marquette. For the Colts are having one of the best seasons they've had in a while. Being atop of the AFC Conference, however, the Colts struggled on the road Sunday, falling 27-20 to the Steelers. The offense never found a rhythm, with the O-line failing to contain Pittsburgh's defensive front. Jonathan Taylor was held to a season-low 45 rushing yards. When was Daniel Jones going to show his past career issues? Well, it was this game. Jones threw 3 interceptions and showed his worst performance this year. The offensive line also allowed 2 strip sack fumbles in its worst showing of the year. However, today at 1, upgraded the roster. The Colts traded 2 first-round picks and wide receiver A.D. Mitchell to the Jets for All-Pro corner Sauce Gardner, the 2022 Defensive Rookie of the Year. GM Chris Ballard made the big move fans have been waiting for, bolstering the Colts secondary in a major way. Welcome to Indy, Sauce Gardner. The star power of Jonathan Taylor and the Colts hope to bounce back next Sunday when they face the 3-5 Atlanta Falcons in Berlin, Germany for a 9:30 a.m. Eastern start. The Pacers, well, after a strong playoff run that ended with a Game 7 loss in the NBA Finals and the loss of Tyrese Haliburton, Coach Rick Carlisle hasn't had the season start that he had hoped for. Looking at this stat, I wasn't even born yet. It's clear the Pacers are struggling. Buzzer beaters, injuries, a G League bench, shooting slumps, blowouts, and close losses have defined their season so far. Siakam is averaging 26 points a game. Neesmith is shooting 34% from the field. That tells you everything you need to know about Neesmith. That's all the Pacers have, really. Without Haliburton, Pacers fans were hoping for new scoring leaders. But now the question is, who will be out and for how long? And that Andrew Nembhard's shoulder injury has an uncertain return date. Benedict Mathurin is week to week with a toe injury, and Obi Toppin is out until February after foot surgery. The roster has shrunk every game, it feels like, leaving fans worried. TJ McConnell is expected back this month. Miles Turner returned to Indiana last night after signing with rival Milwaukee. Fans booed him because of his decision and comments about the Pacers this offseason. Turner scored 9 points, and the Pacers lost on a Giannis Antetokounmpo buzzer beater. Another possession loss for the Pacers. For the latest on all things IU sports, be sure to tune in each week to Hoosier Sports Night. You can catch it Thursdays on IUSTV. That's all for me over on the sports side. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Dylan. Let's get one last check of that 7-day forecast.
Yeah, guys, once again, the 7-day forecast, again, gonna rise in temp during the middle of the week, and then we're gonna go back down in temp. So your Saturday and your Sunday may be a bit cooler as we head into those weekend days.
Well, I'm definitely glad for it to get a little bit warmer in the middle of this week.
I'm looking forward to the colder weather. All right, Julian, thanks, and thank you for watching IUSTV News.
For updates between newscasts, check out IUSTV.com and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. We're back here again next week. See you then.